What if the holiday season wasn't only about joy, gifts, and cheer? What if a dark creature roamed the snowy nights, punishing those who misbehaved? That creature is Krampus, the shadow of St. Nicholas. Across Europe, countless chilling stories describe his terrifying visits. Tonight, we'll explore the top 10 Krampus stories that blend folklore, mystery, and unforgettable fright. Number 10. The Austrian Children's Parade. In Austria, the legend of Krampus is taken so seriously that entire villages hold Krampuslauf, or Krampus runs. One story tells of a group of children in Salzburg who thought the parade was just harmless fun. As costumed men ran through the streets, one boy swore he felt a cold claw grip his shoulder. No actor admitted touching him, and his coat was torn as if by real horns. To this day, the town whispers that Krampus himself might have joined the march, reminding everyone that he's more than just myth. Number 9. The Lonely Alpine Cabin. High in the Austrian Alps, a family spent Christmas in an isolated cabin surrounded by deep snow. The father, full of holiday cheer, laughed at the old legends and mocked the idea of a horned demon. That night, strange sounds echoed from the roof, heavy thuds as if hooves were stomping above them. When they stepped outside with lanterns, they saw enormous hoofprints circling the cabin in the fresh snow. No animal in the region could leave marks that large, and they stretched far into the forest before vanishing. The family quickly locked their doors, shaken by the idea that their mocking words had attracted Krampus. For years afterward, the father warned his children never to dismiss old traditions, reminding them that some stories survive because they hold more truth than we want to believe. Number 8. The Bavarian Bell. In Bavaria, an old story is told of a boy named Lucas, who often lied to his parents. On one December night, Lucas heard the sound of distant bells outside his window. Thinking it was St. Nicholas with gifts, he rushed outside. But the figure he saw was covered in fur, with curling horns and a long whipping tail. The creature shook a bell so loud it rang in his ears for hours. Lucas fainted from fear, and when he woke, the bell was sitting on his bed. His parents never discovered where it came from, and the bell disappeared the next day. Some say Krampus left it as a warning never to lie again. Number 7. The Krampus Night Festival Gone Wrong. Every December 5th, towns across Europe celebrate Krampusnacht. In one village in Tyrol, Austria, the celebration once took a darker turn. Locals recall that the men dressed as Krampus began chasing children as usual. But one child tripped and fell. Instead of helping, a horned figure stood over him, growling in a voice that didn't sound human. The boy swore he saw glowing eyes in the dark. When the mask was removed later, no one could agree who had been playing that particular Krampus. To this day, villagers avoid speaking about that night, calling it the year the real Krampus slipped into the festival unnoticed. Number 6. The Lost Traveler. One chilling tale tells of a traveler named Hans, who got lost while walking home through the snowy Black Forest. The path was dim, covered in white, and the trees groaned with the weight of ice. At first, he walked in silence until the sound of rattling chains echoed behind him. Hans tried to brush it off as the wind, but the clanking grew louder with every step. Soon he felt warm breath against his neck, though no one was there. Terrified, Hans turned and saw only darkness, but in the snow, alongside his footprints, were massive hoofprints leading into the woods. Shaking, he ran the rest of the way home. From that night forward, Hans refused to travel alone during December. He often said Krampus himself had stalked him, and the hoofprints were proof enough to make him believe forever. Number 5. The Forgotten Village of Carinthia. In the Austrian region of Carinthia, there's an old legend about a village where children went missing one winter. The parents thought wolves had taken them, but one surviving child told a different story. He claimed a beast with horns and chains, carried the others away in a large sack. The villagers searched the mountains but found only scraps of clothing. Fearing more losses, the community began strict traditions of honoring St. Nicholas and warning children about Krampus. The missing kids were never found, and the story became a permanent warning passed down through generations. Number 4. The Snowy Window Visitor. In Tyrol, Austria, a family tells of their great-grandmother's encounter with Krampus. As a young girl, she stayed up late, refusing to listen to her parents. She peeked out the frosted window on December 5th, expecting St. Nicholas. Instead, she saw a hairy figure with horns staring directly back at her, pressing clawed hands against the glass. Terrified, she screamed, and her parents rushed in, finding only foggy prints left on the window pane. She never disobeyed bedtime again, swearing Krampus had been watching her. Number 3. The Chains in the Barn. Farmers in the Alpine villages often spoke of Krampus visiting barns during Krampusnacht. One winter, a farmer noticed his animals acting strangely, kicking, pacing, and refusing food. At midnight, he entered the barn to calm them, only to hear chains dragging across the floor. The sound echoed from the shadows, followed by a low, animal-like growl. The lantern flickered as though a cold wind had swept through, though the doors were closed tight. He quickly backed out, locking the barn and praying until dawn. When morning came, the hay was scattered, and deep claw marks scarred the wooden walls. The animals were trembling, but unharmed. Neighbors whispered that Krampus had come to punish the farmer for not respecting the old ways. To this day, his descendants never enter the barn after dark on December 5th. Number 2. The Krampus and the Naughty Brothers. A tale from Tyrol speaks of two brothers who constantly disobeyed their parents, stealing food, breaking tools, and bullying other children. On Krampusnacht, they laughed when their mother warned them to behave. That night, the family heard loud banging at the door. The brothers hid under the bed, but something dragged them out by their ankles. Their mother screamed, yet no one could stop the shadowy figure that stuffed the boys into a sack. The next morning, the brothers were back in their beds, too terrified to speak. From then on, they became model sons, whispering that Krampus had promised to return if they ever misbehaved again. Number 1. The Traveler Who Never Came Back. Perhaps the most chilling Krampus story comes from the 1800s. A man named Franz set out on December 5th to visit family in another village. He never arrived. When villagers searched the snowy roads, they found strange hoofprints alongside human ones that suddenly ended at the edge of a frozen river. His belongings were scattered in the snow, but Franz was never seen again. Some believe he slipped and drowned, but locals insist Krampus caught him on the road. This tale has been retold for generations, serving as a dark warning. Krampus doesn't just scare the naughty, sometimes he takes them forever. And there you have it, 10 chilling stories of Krampus that show just how powerful this old legend still is. Whether you see him as a warning for children or as something far more real, one thing is certain. The shadow of Krampus continues to haunt the holiday season. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss more spine-tingling stories. Sleep tight this holiday season, because Krampus might just be watching.